Welcome to Finer Market Points. We're looking at the top 6 artificial intelligence and machine learning exposed companies on the ASX. We do this in a week where Google has released their Bard. It's their version of ChatGPT that's had phenomenal success over the last couple of months, and now it's looking to be able to charge customers. Google was in a race with Microsoft to launch their own version of ChatGPT, and they did it this week, which their share price indicates was somewhat of a failure. If we cast our eyes over to the ASX, we have a look to see what the industry looks like for artificial intelligence and machine learning. We see there's a couple of dozen companies on the ASX, mostly small and micro caps, that are exposed in this, whether they're developing themselves or building hardware or software to help with those who are developing the products or the interface. When we have a look at these companies, most people think of BrainChip. We're going to have a look at them on the left-hand side in the chart to see how they've performed. The table on the right shows us the monthly performance is down 9.64%. We can see that share price has been somewhat of a slippery slope on the way down. Bringing that out to the weekly, we know that they had a phenomenal 2020, 2021, and then have hit the brakes and fallen hard over the last year or so. That's BrainChip, which has been the most popular for trading on the ASX for this space. We also look at RBTZ. So we're looking at an ETF here, an exchange traded fund that specializes or gives us exposure to robotics and artificial intelligence. We're thinking of these companies on a global scale. So as we look at the top 6 on the ASX, this ETF gives us an international exposure. You can see here the October lows, September-October lows that the general markets had has rallied, but we do see the rally here in the last month puts them up for a performance of, we're looking at 11%. We can see heightened volume here since that ChatGPT exposure is really coming in, and seeing many investors want to get exposure to this industry, growing industry. We also know the Australian government has strong initiatives along with many other many other countries trying to get their country in this space, or an arms race as it may be. As we move into the top 6, we start off with 6th place being Volpara Health. VHT is the ticker. Having a look at that daily chart, we can see that the share price has moved dramatically. You can see a good jump up from January around the lows of 50, 55 cents, and then we're getting up to 85 quite quickly. That puts them, after they've paired off and come back from the highs, puts them up at 16% over the month. Move on up to a name that is a favorite for many investors. APX has a long history on the ASX in this space, and as you can see from that chart, they've come from lows to highs. This is something we looked at in a recent video unpacking the chart with Gary Glover. We can see the highs here showing in the 40s, above the 40 region. When we bring this into the daily chart, coming on down, we see it's only just cracked back over $3. Huge drop in performance, in price, and a terrible performance on that scale. But if we think about it, Amazon did a similar thing 20 years ago. We move over to the next one, which is 4th place, Rocket Boots. Great name, ROC is a ticker. And we can see that it's very thinly traded, super patchy on this space here, but their performances do reflect that they have had a 34% gain over the last month compared with Appen at 21. Now we start getting into the higher regions. WBT, Weebit Nano, that has been a solid performer. We're seeing that it comes from the market lows around October, sitting around $2, where they are today just under $6. For the month, we're looking at 47%. For the quarter, 65. Bring this out a little bit to the left, 48% for the year. Bring that cast back, but look at that movement there, $2 to $6. Very strong charging share price, very strong performance. 2nd place, we've got UNT. Having a look at this, again, a lower liquidity company, but what we can see here is the volume right down here has been increased dramatically, along with what we were seeing with the robotics and artificial intelligence ETF that's on the ASX, showing that ChatGPT was getting investors excited and a lot more volume coming through, and also for UNT, helping them get to a 57% gain over the month, 40% for the quarter, seeing that it was higher. Coming into 1st place, we've got Nuix, NXL. Seeing this share price has come down dramatically, rounded out for a bit of a base, some really high volume spikes that we did see September as well as June. Didn't really have the same sort of movement in October, November lows. Really doldrums there for the volume and turnover side of things, but did pick up, jumped over the recent highs in that November region with a bit of a spike in volume at the same time, shooting up over this 200-day moving average being the red line. Helps them get to 81, just under 81% at the moment. They were slightly higher yesterday, but this massive volume down here in the bottom side shows the jump back up. And if we drag this out and have a look at the news side of things, we can understand the legal success from their successful defense of a legal suit brought by its former CEO. What we see is that analysts are saying that reduces the risk the stock shows and shows that management is making progress on the issues facing. What we're seeing is this is positive news. They're moving well, and we see at the same time we saw Morgan Stanley's increase their profit target around the same time the news was coming out. These are the top 6 artificial intelligence and machine learning exposed companies on the ASX for this week.